What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another video. This video, the new Zelda game, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, it got revealed. This is going to be my reaction and trailer breakdown of it, so let's get right into it. I'm going to play the video, and then I'm going to go over it, and I'm going to go over a couple theories that me and my buddy had. You can check out the live stream that I did with my reaction to this trailer in the description and in the pinned comments below. But anyway, let's play the video and let's get into it. Okay, so that was the trailer. Now I'm going to go through a couple of images that I think are really cool and I want to talk about and break down. And then I'm going to go over a couple theories and possible ways this game could go. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is this character right here. I personally think this is a Zonai. We did not know what the Zonai looked like at all. We just knew they were a race that had some sort of deal with the Sheikah or something like that. I'm going to get into that more later. Anyway, this is a Zonai, I'm pretty sure. And this is going to be the key figurehead of the Zonai that we're going to be dealing with in this game. We then move on, and then we come to see all these hieroglyphs. Now, this is the Malice expanding. We can see this because we can see the red lines growing outwards. We can see the Hylians trying to defend it against Bokoblins and Moblins. Now, if you pay close attention, you'll notice that the Moblins and Bokoblins have longer horns in these hieroglyphs. And the reason that's important is because in Tears of the Kingdom, that's exactly how the Moblins and Bokoblins look. So we can tell currently that this hieroglyph is depicting what is going on currently or something that happened recently to lead to the events of this game, which is the Malice taking over and spreading even more post Breath of the Wild and taking out even more Hylians. The next thing we see is this Zonai figure on a pedestal. I think this is the same Zonai that we see before. And this time they're holding their hands outwards, doing some sort of ritual on a pedestal. And he's surrounded by 7 symbols. Typically in Zelda, there's 6 sages plus 1 for Hylia or Zelda. I personally think these 6 symbols plus 1 are going to represent the sages and how the Zonai is currently in control of them. Because we didn't see any of the 6 sages in Breath of the Wild. We only dealt with 4 divine beasts, which were Sheikah instruments used to battle Ganon. Where were they? This guy had them. I'm going to get into why he had them in a bit, but this Zonai was in control of the sages. And then a panel later, we see a Sheikah woman falling. Now, I think this could mean that either this Zonai figure maybe stole the sages from the Sheikah, or the Sheikah made some sort of deal in exchange for the sages. Perhaps a deal to keep Ganon sealed or to keep the Sheikah technology alive, because it has been leaked in the patents that there is no more Sheikah technology active in Breath of the Wild and there are no more runes. So, the Sheikah don't have anything to defend themselves with anymore. So thus they fall under the power of the Zonai, who also has the Sages. And the Zonai, I believe, were the ones keeping Ganon sealed. Now, in the next panel, to further somewhat reinforce my theory here, we can see a Sheikah woman making a deal with somebody or doing some sort of ritual with a figure that we can't see because it fades before it pans over. Whoever this figure is off screen, I personally think it's this guy right here. The guy who is surrounded by these symbols. Now, I personally think the symbols that represent the sages are what we are going to be calling the tiers of the kingdom. There are going to be 7 tiers in the kingdom of Hyrule. Or 6 plus Hylia. Something along those lines. So maybe, my theory is maybe the Sheikah made a deal with the Zonai to keep Ganon sealed in exchange for the sages. Ganon wasn't sealed well enough, he got defeated, and in turn, the Sheikah technology was deactivated. The Zonai no longer wanted to support said Sheikah, so they released the seal, or the seal got weaker because of all these actions. And now we can see malice spreading outwards and the enemies getting enhancements. Anyway, all that speculation and theory aside, let's move on to the next clip. The next clip is Link going outside of this giant door. Now, this giant door has the same eye symbol we see with the logo of 2 dragons closing in on each other. What this currently means, I don't know, but it definitely forms an eye because, well, the game's called Tears of the Kingdom. Now, in this clip of Link running, I want to point out 2 things. I want to point out the arm that Link has. We already knew about Link's arm, but I believe this is the same arm that sealed Ganon. But the second thing I want to point out are these canisters towards Link's side. They seem to match the color of all the energy we have been seeing lately. And if Breath of the Wild is anything to go by, the Sheikah color was blue, and the Zonai color is this light turquoise green. Now, my theory behind this is our magic meter. Since there are no runes and there's no more technology, we won't have access to freely being able to use our abilities. I personally think we're going to have a magic meter again in this game, and these 4 vials at the bottom here are the magic meter, or stored magic. Why he only has 4 of them instead of 8 could be because of a number of reasons. It could be because he doesn't have a full magic meter unlocked. It could be because he has some of his magic depleted. There could be many reasons for it, but that's just one thing I wanted to quickly go over. Now, this next picture I want to talk about, we've seen this area in front of us a couple of times now. I think this is going to be our hub, sort of like Kakariko, or Ordonville, not Ordonville, but you know what I mean. I think this is going to be our hub world, or something extremely significant, this little downwards pillar in the sky. I can't speak on it too much right now, but I personally think it's going to be pretty important later in the story. Moving on, we have some more rune footage, and this sees Link flying right into the sky directly upwards towards something. There are a bunch of flying boulders around it, and then we can see a giant cloud with thunder going on inside it. I personally think this is going to be one of the dungeon locations, and it's going to be somewhat difficult to enter as there's a thunderstorm surrounding it. Next we see Link climbing up what's probably Korok Forest. This is Korok Forest or Satori Mountain, one of those 2 areas. We can see Link climbing up with a lot of blue lights and fog and so on. The next scene, we can see Ganon's tower in the distance, a floating Hyrule Castle, erupting with Malice, and we can also see Malice erupting in the distance out of Death Mountain. Now, this tells us we're going to be heading back to Death Mountain and probably inside it once again to deal with something inside there. And I'm going to pause right here because we can also see a bunch of floating islands in the distance, including a giant floating island over by what I believe is the Akkala region. I could be wrong though. And then we see this. We see Link pull out some flying bird-like surfboard in the sky, flying over some terrain that has been very badly damaged from all the islands that have rised up. And I want to stop right here, because they tried to hide this, but I caught it. I think this is a portal to the underground or something like that. This is the exact same swirl that we see on Ganon. I don't think it's a seal. I think it's a pathway, but they try and hide it. I also think it's a possibility that this is the Zonai's version of the shrines, because it has a similar figure. Another thing to mention in this scene is you can see a bunch of ethereal markings in the same color of all the magic that we've seen in this game so far, marked all over the map and in certain spots on the ground. I have no idea what these things are going to be, but they're worth mentioning. And then after that, it fades into the logo of an eye and the title card. Now, as for any idea on what the title could mean, as they were holding off on revealing the name of this game for a long time, and that was a big part of it, because they said they would be, they said that the title of this game would spoil a lot of what happens in it. So, what could Tears of the Kingdom possibly mean? I personally think the Tears of the Kingdom are Breath of the Wild's version of the Sages. We're gonna have to go off and collect them, either to defeat the Zonai, reseal Ganon, reforge the Master Sword, like we've seen in many of the previous titles, or it could mean something completely different. It could also correlate to something like Tears of Light from Twilight Princess, where we had to collect a bunch of tears to free the area from the Twilight, so maybe areas could be locked off from Malice and we need tears to unlock them. Maybe something like that. Who knows? It's all speculation from here. All I know is I'm super excited for this game, and I couldn't get any more hype that it's coming in 8 months. So, that has been my speculation for this. I personally think the Zonai made some sort of deal to seal Ganon in exchange for the Sages with the Sheikah, or something relating to their technology, which now led to it being disabled. I think there's now a magic meter, which is either tied to Link's arm, the vials on his side, or something along those lines, and our abilities are going to end up being a lot more limited, but extremely powerful. And finally, we got a release date of May 12th next year. So that is something to be hyped for. But anyway, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys all for watching. And I will see you in the next one, which will also probably be Tears of the Kingdom video. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you enjoy my content, maybe consider becoming a channel member, as it does help me out. Alright, peace out.